Okay, so this will be the beginning of part 2 here. Instead of dragging that trailer and causing a whole lot of more damage, I got to thinking, okay, he only wants 3-foot long boards, so what I'm going to do instead is I'm just going to take the chainsaw and my wedge and hammer, and that's all I'm going to take, and my strap, but it's just going to pull behind. And I'm just going to go up into the woods, excuse me, I'm just going to go up into the woods and cut 3 or 4, 3-foot logs and just drag them back down here with the lawnmower. Probably just set them up over there where I was milling boards for the shed. And I'll just cut them down here. I'm sure this lawnmower will skid, 3-foot logs down here. So, I mean, it pulled those logs right there. So it should be able to handle a 3-foot log. So that's the plan. I think that's better than dragging all that crap up there and something that's going to break down, and then I have to bring all the pieces back one at a time. And I think this is going to be better, so let's go up in the woods and pick out a tree. Okay, right there's a walnut tree, but it's got a bunch of barbed wire in it, and it's pretty gnarly and twisty, so we're going to keep looking for a different one. Alright, I'm going to leave all my stuff right here, where I know where it's at. The pond's just right there, so I won't lose it. And that'll make it easier to go up through here and scout. So maybe I can even film a little bit of it. Take you guys for a ride through the woods. When I'm looking for a walnut tree, the first thing I'm looking for is the leaves, because that's the easiest way to tell. The bark is pretty unique also, but the leaves are what really give it away. Stop filming. I'm just gonna go through here and find one. Okay, right here is another young walnut tree. You can see the leaves are pretty distinct. They kind of stand out versus the all the oak and that type of leaf that's in here. So also the bark, I don't know if you can tell, it kind of makes like diamond patterns, like that kind of looks like a diamond right there, anyway, and it kind of stands out like that's a white oak right there, and then here's the walnut. It kind of pops out 3D a little more on the bark. But again, that's a young one. We're not going to be cutting any young ones. I might not even have any in this. Over here where we're building the house, you can kind of see the pond down there through the trees. This little plot of land that's like immediately above this little pond, our pond down here, is I think it's 100 acres, So we might have to go over into that next field over, like where I deer hunt, and check that tract down there. But I haven't seen any mature ones yet, and I'm not going to cut something that I'm not even going to get one 4x6 out of. So, I mean, obviously that'd be a waste of time. The search continues. Now here's one right here that would be just about the perfect size, except for that. I'm not going to drop this entire walnut tree for one 3-foot section. That'd be a very stupid waste of resource. So, again, the search continues. Alright, so I didn't really find any good mature walnut trees up in our woods over here, so I'm gonna have to go down the road down here and see if I can find some in this other area. The cool thing about going down here is I can kick the lawnmower in neutral and go down the hill pretty fast. Holy crap. Now I'm not speeding up the video or anything, this is just pretty darn fast. Now let's see if I can stop without burning my clutch thing out. Okay. Now if there's not one over here, there's just not one, period. I thought that was one for a second. Alright. Well, let's see. I'm seeing a lot of the young ones that are maybe, you know, between 4 and 6 inches through, but that's just not gonna do anything for me. I'm glad to see there are a lot of them coming up, though. If I didn't see any young ones and it was all mature ones, I wouldn't like that either. So, anyway, I'm just going to go through this field up here and over into the woods probably and check this all out and see what I come up with. Well, while I'm over here, I thought I'd show you guys where I come to deer hunt. Right over in there is a creek bed, and right here at this tree that forks, I get down, like stand in the creek bed, and I'll look through the forks of the tree there, and I look over to here. Now it's a little easier to tell in the fall and winter, but there's like an indention right here, and then it comes back out, and then there's like another little indention. Right there in that indention, there's a valley that goes up through the woods right there. Every year, I see deer come down that valley, and then they'll come into this little opening right here at the edge of the woods, and they'll eat there. They'll stay there 10 or 15 minutes, and then they'll go back up into the woods. So, and there's usually between 10 and 14 of them together in this little area. But every year during deer season, I don't know why, but the deer always come from that direction and go that direction. I've never seen them go from that way to that way. Our house is back over that way, or our house spot is back over that way. So I always see them come this way. And I can see them coming from a half a mile away almost, probably, up through those woods. When it's wintertime, you can see all the way to the ridge of that hill right there, through the trees. So anyway, I haven't found a good mature walnut yet. I don't know, I might It's going to be ridiculous if I don't have one mature walnut on 1,200 acres. I've got 2 of them in the yard in town, but I don't know how I'd ever drop them. Well, back to the search, I guess. Okay, just to give a point of reference, you can kind of see my tracks right there. Way over right there is where I just showed you where I deer hunt at. Way down at the end of that field. So I've already come through here once. You can see my tracks going down through here. I don't know how it's flipping possible, but look what's right here in the middle of the open. What's that look like? The only problem is, check this out. What do you think that is right there? Now, I'm no expert on poison ivy and poison oak and stuff, but it's growing on the side of a tree and it looks kind of ominous. So I'm not even going to touch this stinking tree until I have some flipping gloves on. That is a fact. Let me just... There's another way you can always tell a walnut. Just scrape some of the bark back and it'll have kind of a... Let me get it in a shadow kind of so you can see it better. Maybe. It's got kind of a chocolate color to it if you just scrape back a little bit of the bark. So, and this tree is probably 18 inches through, so it's perfect. The wind is kind of blowing this direction, wanting it to fall into the field. I really don't want it to. If I could fall it just right there into those woods, that would be perfect. But if I fall it out here into the field, or fell it into the field, then I have to clean up all the stuff because, you know, this is a hay field. Well, it's not only a hay field, it's cow pasture too, but they cut hay off of it, so I would have to clean all of it up. But if I fall it just over there into the woods there, I can just pretty much leave the top and take the logs out of it. So, and yes, I always say fall because fell just sounds stupid. I know it's the proper thing, and all the Oregon guys, oh, I'm gonna go fell a tree today. Like, it just sounds stupid. You know, it might be correct, but to me, it just sounds stupid. So I say fall. I mean, to me, in English, you know, that would be the more proper thing to say. But so what I'm gonna do is, I don't have any of my stuff with me. I left it up there so I could just come down here and scout it out. I'm gonna have to go back up there and get my saw. So I'll just leave my wedge here. I'll go get the saw and my hammer, and we'll try to fall it that direction. But luckily I found one. Alright, so I was thinking about dragging those logs back from down there. Like I said, the lawnmower should be able to handle, you know, 3.5 foot logs. The only problem is that's a gravel road, and you know, there's nothing worse on a chainsaw, other than, you know, hitting a nail or something, than a bunch of gravel and stuff in the bark. And here in Missouri, we have a lot of dust and stuff that flies up, and right next to this gravel road, a lot of dust and dirt gets into the bark anyway. So just cutting wood around here is detrimental on chains. I mean, you go through them pretty quick and have to sharpen all the time. So what I thought maybe is, instead of dragging them up all that gravel, maybe I'll try and take one of these pallets and maybe use it as a skid or something. You know, put one or maybe even 2 logs and strap them down to the top of that pallet, and then hook my strap to the front of it and try to drag the pallet across the ground. I'm going to try that. I don't know if it'll work or not, but I'm at least going to try it. Because I really don't want to drag those logs up, you know, a gravel road, so. I don't know how sturdy these pallets are, really. But, I mean, they're pretty heavy. All I can do is try it. If it fails, it fails. But all I can do is try. Okay, so as you can see, I'm already probably stupidly putting quite a bit of faith in this. Because I'm allowing my, you know, $1,000 chainsaw to ride on there, so. And I mean, if $30 worth of lawnmower parts is a stretch, you could imagine how much that how much that would hurt. So let's hope it all goes okay. Okay, well, that worked pretty good. Pallet stayed together. It didn't really get hung up on anything. Also, I found out that it makes a pretty good manure spreader. So, there's that, I guess. But I've parked this over here quite a ways away from the tree, so hopefully it'll be safe. And I'm putting the camera over here too, so if I don't get like real good close-ups, I apologize. I really can't afford to replace the camera, so I'd like to keep it out of harm's way. I think you guys would probably like a more wide shot and see the tree fall. This thing has a pretty good zoom. I could set it up back this far and then, you know, I could zoom in, you know, all the way up and on it, but I think you guys would probably rather see the big picture and see it fall, so that's what I'm going to do. And then also, I don't think I have any gloves in my toolbox. I think they're back up at the property, so I don't know. I'm going to try to just not touch the poison ivy if that's what it is. I'm going to treat it as if that's what it is. I'm not real sure, but I'm not going to touch it either way, or at least I'm going to try not to, and just hope I don't get stupid poison ivy. I hate that crap. But let's give it a shot. Now hopefully it falls over into the woods. So that right there is why people want walnut. It's a beautiful wood. And it's even nicer when you can catch some of that sapwood in with your project. It just, the contrast is awesome. So, sorry, I feel like I might sneeze. Anyways, so I've got 3.5 foot logs here. They're pretty good size, so hopefully I can get 2 boards out of each one of these. And then I can cut an 8 foot log out of that one maybe for myself. And then that'll probably be the last of the cutting walnut for other people. There's just not enough of these mature trees. I mean, I searched, I guess, 200 acres to find this one. I mean, there's tons of small ones, you know, 20, 30 years from now maybe, but there's tons of small ones, just not real good, big, mature ones like this. So, this will probably be the last of that, because while I still have, you know, 1,000 acres to search or whatever to find some, I was planning on making my hardwood floors in the house out of walnut. So I'll need quite a bit of that for myself, but I'm glad to cut this for the guy. He bought the other boards from me and was happy and wanted some walnut, so the work has just begun. Now we have to get all these back to the house, and we have to cut them all up. So this is going to be a full day's work right here. I've been out here probably already almost 3 hours, so. Well, let's see if we can get these things loaded up. They're pretty heavy. I don't know. We'll see.